Don't look for anything outside of yourself. Without a doubt, Miyamoto Musashi is one of the greatest samurai in history. His unmatched swordsmanship accomplishments were not only the product of natural talent, but also of his unwavering discipline, which, in his own words, was what paved the way for his greatness. Before we move forward, first of all, take a moment to think about the principles you have applied in your life and share your experiences in comment section. And do like the video and subscribe the channel. At the age of 13, Musashi engaged in his first and successful duel. From then on, he went on to win over 60 bouts without losing, a record that still stands as one of the greatest historical feats of all time. Miyamoto. In addition to being the greatest samurai in Japanese history, Musashi was also a thinker and an artist. His life offers a powerful illustration of how self-discipline can change everything. Without it, we would be like rudderless ships that are easily swayed by impulse and the need for instant gratification. In light of the fact that disciplined people are better able to handle life's obstacles and surprises, Miyamoto Musashi's teachings on superior self-discipline will be discussed in this video. However, keep in mind that Musashi saw discipline as a shield against suffering rather than just a means of achieving goals. For Musashi, accepting the reality of each moment, whether it be a life-threatening duel or a calm day of writing, was a form of discipline rather than a passive act. Musashi's life as a samurai was full of uncertainties, from the results of duels to the fleeting nature of his lifestyle. This perspective isn't limited to samurais in life-or-death situations. It can also be applied to everyday challenges. For instance, suppose you're driving to a crucial meeting when your car breaks down. Many of us would immediately wonder why this is happening to us or even curse our bad luck, adding needless suffering to the situation. However, Musashi suggests that instead of labeling the situation as bad and becoming frustrated, a disciplined person quickly shifts their attention to finding solutions, such as calling a tow truck or informing the people who are waiting for them, and works out how to handle the situation after realizing that the car has broken down and needs to be fixed. This idea is very similar to the Stoic philosophy that Epictetus captured in his well-known quotation. Although we have no control over the outside world, we do have control over how we react to it. The concept is simple but profound. Although we may not be able to control our circumstances, we can control how we respond to them. Additionally, Musashi provides an engaging viewpoint on how we interpret events, warning us against assigning them a positive or negative label. He contends that these labels are mental constructs that we, as observers, impose on the events, and that by adopting a disciplined mindset, we are able to release ourselves from these limiting judgments. Don't second-guess what you did. Guilt is a useful emotion sometimes. It functions as a warning system to let us know when we've stepped over an ethical boundary. For example, feeling bad after hurting someone with your remarks is normal and even productive because it demonstrates your concern for the consequences of your behavior and provides an opportunity for self-improvement. Though they have different purposes, guilt and regret are sometimes confused by a lot of people, but regret is a mental state that doesn't serve us well. It's like a cloud hanging over our thoughts, taking up valuable mental space and impeding discipline. Guilt is an emotional response that gives us useful information to help us adjust our behavior for the future. Miyamoto Musashi stressed the value of having a clear mind because he didn't have time to think back on the past and had to concentrate on the things that would keep him alive. Making regrettable decisions can seriously undermine our ability to maintain discipline, so it's important to keep our minds clear of distractions. One such diversion is regret. Remorse won't make up for circumstances where you lost all of your money on a bad investment, played video games late into the night, or skipped a crucial meeting at work or class. We should concentrate on taking proactive measures to correct the situation rather than becoming mired in a cycle of regret that frequently results in helplessness. It's acceptable to make mistakes and grow from them. It is unacceptable to allow those errors to become a source of regret. Instead, we should work to grow, learn from our mistakes, and move on. For Musashi, it didn't matter where he lived. Whether it was in a calm temple or a bustling battlefield, his inner peace and discipline remained unwavering. Many of us may think that moving will magically solve all of our problems and lead to a happily ever after. But Musashi is challenging this notion and pushing us to realize that the key to contentment isn't tied to a specific location. Rather, it's more about our mindset and how you engage with life. At its core, happiness is an internal state of mind. Sure, moving to a new place might temporarily lift your spirits, but if you're not essentially happy or in line with your life's purpose, that initial happiness will probably fade and you'll find yourself back where you started. This echoes Confucius's advice, which states that no matter where you go, there you are. Musashi also gets us ready for the unpredictable nature of life. If we're seeking mastery in any field or self-improvement, we may find ourselves in unexpected places. We may have to adjust to a new way of life in a foreign country or even learn to navigate unfamiliar cultures. These changes test our mental and emotional fortitude and go beyond simply where we are physically. Instead of concentrating on where we are, Musashi suggests that we should think about how we are. Our ability to be flexible, strong, and goal-oriented are the attributes that will benefit us. Succeed wherever life leads us. To learn 10,000 things no one knows well in today's world, where there are countless career options and an excessive amount of options. It's normal to be drawn to a variety of interests, whether they be in sports, computers, or the arts, which leads us to experiment in different fields. Although having a broad range of interests isn't always a bad thing, it can occasionally result in the shiny object syndrome, where people abandon one new and trendy idea for another as soon as something else catches their attention. It's easy to forget that Musashi was also a skilled artist, a cerebral philosopher, and a master strategist. With this, we can argue that knowing one way doesn't mean limiting yourself to one pursuit. Rather, it emphasizes the importance of focused discipline in mastering one thing at a time and devoting our full time and attention to this one thing until we master it by doing. Musashi took a different approach. We now know one method, which is that when we fully understand a skill through extensive practice, we begin to notice patterns that aid in the learning of other skills. In Miyamoto's case, his strategy was primarily based on the patterns he discovered through practicing his opponents and applying them to a larger scale. The ability to learn how to learn is what makes us resilient in the modern world. For example, if you know how to study for one exam, you'll know how to study for the others, or if you know how to adapt at work, you'll be able to handle any task you're assigned. However, learning one way first will enable you to later know 1,000. Since Musashi was a samurai, a warrior, who had to make decisions involving life and death, this lesson probably had a deep meaning for him personally. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, moving to a new location, or just choosing different paths in life, these times of separation are inevitable and natural parts of being human. For instance, if you have to relocate to pursue a career opportunity or a dream, you will have to say goodbye to your friends and family. This is difficult, but Musashi believes that discipline is in controlling your emotions, acknowledging your sadness, but not allowing it to stop you from pursuing your goals. The idea of separation also applies to material belongings. For example, if your car or smartphone were taken away, would you lose your sense of self? Musashi cautions against this kind of attachment, arguing that it could turn into an emotional form of servitude. The detachment in realizing that although you can enjoy things, they shouldn't emotionally possess you is the discipline in this situation. Never be jealous. You might be wondering how jealousy and discipline are related. Well, Musashi's teachings frequently examine the obstacles that stand in our way of developing self-discipline, and jealousy is undoubtedly one of them. When you see a friend who recently got their dream job or is traveling to far-off places on social media, it's easy to feel jealous and feel like you're missing out or not accomplishing enough. However, the problem with jealousy is that it diverts your attention from your own journey and personal development. It is highly unlikely that Musashi would have developed into the renowned warrior we know today if he had spent his time being envious of other swordsmen. In the world of the samurai, where life and death were separated by the narrowest of margins, there was no place for such distractions. Musashi concentrated on developing his own abilities, perfecting his work, and realizing his own advantages and disadvantages. The time and energy that jealousy would have taken away from him to become the best version of himself were wasted. Just like Musashi, you cannot afford to lose focus or become overly distracted by what others are doing, especially in this day and age of social media. Maintaining your discipline is more important than ever, so when jealousy tries to pull you away, remember Musashi's unwavering dedication to his craft and use that as motivation to invest in yourself and become the greatest samurai in your own field. Thank you for watching. I hope you find this video informative and enjoyable.